What's up, everybody? So today in this video I'm going to be giving a deep dive on automation in an onboarding system, taking something that can painfully take multiple weeks down to just minutes, just one click essentially. So if you haven't met me before, my name is Ben Green and I'm the owner of Optimized Information Systems. What we do is we help business owners, probably just like you, help them optimize their information systems. So in stuff like Slack for communication, Airtable for asset management or a CRM, Asana for project management, and Zapier and Integromat to really connect all those systems together. So without further ado, we'll get right into the video now. So if you can't tell, we're in Zapier up here. And what this shows you is it shows you a flow through a Zap. And what a Zap is it's an automation that happens automatically based on a trigger, and then it executes a bunch of actions. So if you have a paid plan with Zapier, you can have a multi-step action, which means you have one trigger and then you have more than one action. And that's exactly what you see here. So I'm going to be walking you through some of the things you can do just right off the bat with Zapier. If you want something like this built for you, I encourage you to just keep watching this video. So this is an example of just an onboarding. Now, onboarding is one small piece of a business. It can be very painful, and for many businesses it is. There's a lot of administrative tasks to get a client onboarded, especially in service-based businesses. So that's maybe sending emails, adding Google Calendar events, maybe adding their birthday to the Google Calendar, creating users in Slack, creating a new channel for them and sharing it. And all of that stuff can really be automated if it's clicking buttons. Most of the time, if it's an app that connects with the API, then it can be automated. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you all about how you can do that and how you can do that very simply, maybe starting out with a trigger in Airtable, or essentially all you need to know is starting out with a funnel. So what a funnel would look like in an onboarding system is having one source of truth for the onboarding information. Now, the onboarding information would be essentially a form that either you would fill out on a call with them, and you would say, this is our onboarding, this is the information I need about you, and this is exactly what would happen. So if you use an Airtable form, or if you used a different form software, you could integrate that with Zapier, and you could say, for every new submission that matches these conditions, I want to onboard this person. And you can set those filters up in, for example, a new view in Airtable. So all of those submissions come in, you filter it out, all the bad submissions out, and then you create, that triggers this onboarding process. So this onboarding process, I'll go through some of the things that I just came up with that I use in my business, and I know some of my clients are asking for in their businesses. So the first one is obviously this trigger. So you see trigger and then you see action. A trigger means that something is happening to start a sequence. So it's like just before if you had a gun and you pulled the trigger, you would pull the trigger, then the gun would shoot. So you pull the trigger first, then you have action, 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 and all of this just happens automatically, and it's honestly like magic. So the first one you might want to do is you might want to add their birthday to Google Calendar. Maybe you want to be sending out some emails, or you just want to wish them a happy birthday. This could also be in a CRM, but you want to be wishing them a happy birthday just to keep on good terms, make it a little bit more friendly. Another thing you might want to do, and this will become important later when we go back to this record right here. So the first one was create an event in Google Calendar. This one is create a folder in Dropbox. So maybe they have a lot of assets that they need to be giving you. So you might be going and creating that folder in Dropbox and then emailing it to them, or whatever that looks like. Well, with Zapier, you can just automatically create that folder in Dropbox, and then if you want to send it in an email, you can just have it automatically be pulled in from that prior step. So these steps happen one after the other, and in any step, so for this action right here, we can only use information from our first trigger. And then this second action, which is the third step in this automation, that can use any information gathered along the way. So it can use any information from the trigger or from the first action. And so, for example, for the third action in here, the fourth step, it could pull anything from these first three, the first trigger or the two actions. It can pull in any information there. So what you might be thinking is this sounds kind of complicated, and it's not the easiest thing to get on your first try. So don't like beat yourself up if you don't really understand the trigger and action concept. Basically, somebody just submits this form and you can add them to your Google Calendar. You can create a folder in Dropbox. You can send them your onboarding email. You can do a signature request from them in HelloSign, DocuSign, many of those API-enabled e-signature platforms. Say you need to send them an NDA or you need to send them an independent contractor agreement. Any of that you can send through these automations. And you might also, every time you add a client, you have them created as a new channel in your Slack account. So if you have like private channels, you might be sharing them privately if you have a paid Slack account. Here you can just create that channel in Slack. You can invite that channel to that channel. You can invite that user to that channel in Slack. So you can really do a ton of automations in here that really save a ton of time. And if you want, instead of having this send email right here, say you want to include their Dropbox link, you want to include the reminder and maybe a link to that signature request, you want to create a link to their Slack channel, you could just have that email all the way down here. So going through a few more of these, say you use LastPass, which is like sharing passwords. Also, I should mention Slack is like a communication like Microsoft Teams. HelloSign is an e-signature API automation tool, so you don't ever have to like go create and customize documents. It will just automatically pull information from their onboarding form and automatically fill out a e-signature request and then automatically send to them, and then when they sign it, you can get automatically notified and it can update for you. It also does a lot of automated reminders, which is just amazing. But moving on here, so you probably understand Gmail, just basic email. And so here you can invite that user to that Slack channel to have that good communication. You can create a user in LastPass to have those emails shared. Maybe you want to have a little bit of security, you want to build a little bit of trust there. You can do this automatically. And then one of my favorite ones here is once you do all of this, so some stuff you might want to be keeping track of for yourself is you might want to have their folder in Dropbox. You might want to have all of their information from here somewhere else. You might want to have their signature request. You might want to say that that signature request sent, or that they received their invite to Slack, or that you might want their user ID from LastPass to update the record in Airtable. So on their whole onboarding form, you might have a file or a field all the way at the end, and you might put their Dropbox folder link in there. You might put their user ID in LastPass in there. And all of that can be done with a simple, just one action in here, rather than doing a lot of these. So another thing you can do is say all of these first 8 steps here, which there's the trigger and then the 8 action items, you can also have a delay. So after it completes those first 8 actions, then maybe what you want to set up is a delay. And basically what you're doing is you're mapping out your whole onboarding process. So from start to finish, once they hire you to once they're an active client, this is everything you might want to be doing. And another thing people don't always think about is you can include a lot of personalization in here. So if you want to be making it a very personal experience for the client, you want to be like texting them if they don't receive their first Calendly event or their first Zoom call for a week after, maybe on days 3 and 5, you want to send them a text message saying, hey, we really appreciate your business and we're excited to talk in a few days. Or maybe you want to send them a personalized voicemail. You can create a personalized voicemail and then use an automation to send it to them, so you don't have to remember. You don't even have to remember to do it each time, because the automation will do that for you. So some other things in here, you can add that contact in simple texting, send an SMS message in simple texting, and you can just keep on going through these and more and more. Another thing you might want to add here is after this one, say we want to add a filter. So if you want to split people off, so maybe some people, they're in there, for example, for myself, for automation consulting, like this. You might want to filter out those people and give them a specific email sequence over a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Split some other people off and give them a specific email sequence maybe they're Airtable Consulting and build a lot of databases in Airtable. So those two people maybe get some more personalized based on the service that they're receiving at different times based on the filter that we gave them, and then the delays that we included in that path. So I really want you to think, how personalized do you want it? How personalized do you want that whole onboarding process? And then where do you want delays? So like, what stuff needs to happen today? What stuff do you still want automated but you want it to happen 3 days from now? And so on and so forth. Whenever I look at new systems, evaluate new systems, the first thing that I look at now is, does it sync up with Zapier or does it sync up with Integromat? Because everything in here is very, very easily automated, and it can really make it can make something very automated feel very personalized, because it can give them all of these different things that you're just giving them, and they're going to eat it up. If they're really excited to work with you, which if they pay you, they're probably going to be very excited. You can keep them very excited, but not have to be as hands-on with that, because an onboarding process can be super, super hands-on, and it can be really stressful for you, especially as you scale up and you get more clients. You want a lot of this stuff to be automated. So if you need help setting up something like this, you can check out the link in the description. But if all you want to do is just maybe get started with Airtable and test this out, I have a video right here showing you all about how to get started with Airtable. So how to set up this kind of stuff for you in your business, how to start doing these multi-step zaps, starting from single-step zaps, really giving you the foundational blocks of learning how to use Zapier and get the most out of it. So I encourage you to go click that end screen right there in the middle of the screen up there, and you'll learn all about this. You'll gain a ton of value, just a ton of free value in these videos. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great day, and go click that end screen, and I'll see you there.